A good treat in the morning. I thought you were talking of lunch. Yeah, it was good. It was good. No problem there at all. Now, normally, just before I start over there, tibial fractures, whether they are grade 1, 2, Schatzer 1, 6, Lu 1, 2, 3, whatever they are, a lot of times there is a dilemma in which position you will operate. You want to anterior approach, medial approach, anteromedial approach, posterior approach, lateral approach, and you require a lot of time, one or two people to assist you to hold the reduction, especially if it is a comminuted fracture, to see your alignment, to see your rotation, and there are so many issues which come with tibial fractures, which as you will operate more and more, you will realize. Over the years, I have tried to simplify my working, and I have found that if you do a proximal tibial and even a tibial shaft fracture where you are planning to do a plating, if you reduce it on the fracture table, your life becomes very simple. I will show you what I say. Show me first slide, please. I can do it from here. Yeah. Now, I am sure all of you are very familiar. Here. I am sure all of you are very familiar with the fracture table. Most of the times in a tibial fracture, it is not very easy to hold the fragments. Multiple fragments are there. Your alignment may go for a toss. Your assistant is not as interested in you. Your assistant is not as interested in you in the surgery as you are. I'm sorry to say that, but that is normal. That is a fact of life that all of us have learnt over the years. So then it is you who is operating the patient, and it is you want a good X-ray at the end of the surgery, so you have to try and find out how it can be done. On a simple fracture table, next please. Now you tie the patient as you would for a fracture neck femur, for a DHS or a PFN. Once you tie the patient, now here the patient is tied up and you can see that the tibia is in a bit of recurvatum, obviously because the patient has just been tied. As you will give traction, the tibia will straighten out completely, and the more traction you give, gradually by sheer ligamentous axis, the whole thing is going to fall into place. You are not looking, now the trend for fixation is not fragment to fragment, what we used to do so many years ago. Now you are looking for alignment and for function. Once upon a time, for a multiple tibial, we would have put some 6 or 7 plates with 25 screws, 3 year, 2 year, and tried to put the whole thing together like a jigsaw puzzle. Now we are more of bridging fixation, where you do a biological osteosynthesis, bypass the whole thing and get the whole thing together as one construct and allow it to heal finally. So if you will do something like this, your soft tissue envelope will hold everything together, and your final reduction will be very easy, and your surgery will be simpler even after that. So as you can see here, it is bowed here. There with traction it has become straight. Next. Now if you see from the foot end of the patient, you can see your alignment is good, and I am sure now this was supposed, I am sorry if you feel I am talking of very, very basic orthopedics. I am sure this is a world of AI and Google, where all of us are qualified even before we give our entrance exam for NEET. But you have to learn your basic foundation first, or you cannot go forward. So when your patient is given the position on the table, the anterior superior iliac spine, the patella and the second toe have to be in a line to say that your leg is aligned completely and there is no rotation malalignment. Antero-posterior you can see obviously on the table, the only thing to adjust is the rotation, and moment you do that, then you are done. Next please. If the reduction is not very stable and you feel there is a sag, especially when there is comminution, you can very easily hold it with your hand and see. If while holding with the hand the reduction is coming, you can just ask somebody to hold it and put your plate as we will go forward. Next. This is anterior superior iliac spine over there. This is the midpoint of the patella, and this is the second toe. This is reasonably in alignment. That means you know there is no rotational malalignment, because once you start open surgery, everything is draped. There is a tourniquet on top. The foot is draped in some cling wrap. So the anatomical landmarks are not very clear. And invariably you are not very sure whether you are fixing the patient in, the rotation is all right, the valgus valgus is good or not. This becomes very, very easy, and that is what I have found in the last so many years. Next. So then once you do that, you drape your patient properly, and if you are a tourniquet person, you can apply a tourniquet there and you can eschmark the leg and you can continue your surgery with the tourniquet. If you don't believe in a tourniquet, that's fine. That's up to you how you are comfortable with. If you put a tourniquet, it is easier because the closure and all becomes very easy. There's no edema when you handle everything and it becomes easier to close. If you feel that post-op there is edema and there's going to be a compartment syndrome, what I normally would do, I whack the patient post-op. So you put a whack for 48 hours and within 48 hours the edema and all everything goes down, and then it is the soft tissue healing is quite uneventful and normally there is no problem. Next. Yes. So now we are doing a MIPO. You make your incision on the medial side wherever you are going to start the entry of your plate, and you have this long subperiosteal elevator. I mean, all of us are used to using these instruments, so I'm not going to go into that. And you come out wherever you have decided, and you have already marked on the skin using the C-arm, which is the end of your plate. On the C-arm you marked everything with a skin marker, and you know where it is going to come out. And you get alignment of your plate to whatever level you have decided, and using the MIPO medially and laterally, you can achieve it quite easily. And you can fix your plate proximally, distally, what is being discussed since morning and probably what we are going to discuss now in the afternoon, and your alignment will come and your MIPO, and you don't need to open the fracture at all. Now this lady was this lady had a upper third, middle third tibial fracture, and she had some back surgery. So she's got weakness and numbness in both the lower limbs. So she's not really going to be walking much because her knees are quite bad. So if I have to do a proximal tibia in a younger person, I would probably take a midline approach to be prepared for a TKR at a later date. Here, because the lady is not going to come to a TKR anyway, so I took a medial and lateral approach separately and I put 2 MIPOs on either side. And it had to be a bicolumnar fixation because it is a middle third tibial fracture, right? I think that's it. Next. Yeah, this is something what we just started in the middle but then not completed. Okay. Next. Now one more. Coming to the proximal tibial Schatzer 3, 4, 5, 6 type of fractures, where you will require multiple fixation. You may require a medial approach, you may require a lateral approach, you may require a posteromedial approach. So it is very difficult to keep on moving the patient and changing your drapes here and there, and every time the position will change. So this floppy lateral position, I think we just talked about it, was introduced by Professor Lu. I happened to be there in Switzerland when this was introduced and attended the whole workshop with him so many years ago, and it works beautifully well. Next. Again, patient is in the normal table lateral position with an anterior and a posterior hip support. Both places you keep a lot of space, so you have the patient can be turned prone and supine at the same sitting. Here the leg is in the neutral position where you can take easily a lateral approach. You can go posteriorly, the posterolateral approach for the posterior lateral corner of the tibia. It is very easy to do from this side. Next. You can turn the patient prone completely and you have the entire posterior area exposed. You can do your posteromedial incision from there and do the posteromedial corner fixation. Next. Again, that is the same thing. And last one. Then you can turn the leg totally on the opposite side. So I have a very, very clear medial approach over here. This position also is very comfortable to use and it's very simple on the table. One drape and the whole surgery is done completely. Okay. Thank you. I think now we can start the next session.